Good morning, everyone. So I'm Kum Basra, and today for the Alumni Spotlight interview, we have with us Jagjyot. Jagjyot works as a quality assurance technician at the Capsule Factory Nutraceuticals. Welcome, Jagjyot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It feels like a full circle. We started this interview last year. And if you go back and see the initial interviews, we used to do these interviews and it feels like a full circle being interviewed this time. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for this initiative for us too. Yeah. So, my first question to you is Jagjyot. Can you tell us about your professional journey after your graduation from the Centennial? I mean, how did you get stated and the difficulties you faced, and how did you overcome them?
So my professional journey has been a little short because I just graduated back in August. My current employer is my co-op employer. I worked with them last year during my co-op term in the fall semester. And how I got this job was because of my networking because I was the president during summer and I used to interview a lot of alumni. And I closely worked with Yvonne Henry, and Yvonne has like a very good contact in the industry. So when somebody reached out to her asking if she had somebody in mind for co-op, she recommended me. And then I got this job because I reached out to the employer and we had an interview. And then after 20 minutes of interview, I had the job. But then one thing that I would say students keep have to keep in mind is that they have to be ready to relocate. I relocated for this job last year. I am based in Woodstock right now, which is near London. And I came back again and relocated again. So I think you have come all the way. Probably you have left your homes or you left your country to be here. Just don't be afraid to like come out of your comfort zone and relocate for your job. Maybe you can move back to GTA once you have the experience, and company might give you a better pay or a better position that time. But initially, I think you have to keep your options open. And that is something I think I overcame by popping my comfort bubble. And I came out of GTA and I'm currently working in Woodstock.
Yeah, that's nice. So, how did your education at Centennial College prepare you for your career?
I work in a natural health product company, which is a nutraceutical company, Capsule Factory. And what I think the three courses that really directly apply to my current position is first, food microbiology. Now, food micro being a course that gave you an idea of how to navigate a Health Canada website, if you remember. It helps you to understand how recalls happen, why recall happens, understanding the testing that's required, understanding the specifications. I think that is something that I got an idea from Food Micro. A big yes to HACCP course or the HACCP part or HACCP element of the course that the course brings along. I have done a HACCP course on the side while I was doing my co-op last year. But what I feel is that the major component or feature that the student has to understand as a beginner is already covered in your food courses. So make I know the courses like asynchronous and online, but I think that is something that's required. And if you plan on going into industry and not academia as in research, food micro should be a basic. The second course that I think is professional practices. If you are a co-op student, you usually do this course a little early, which is called the co-op course, the employment preparation course. We do the same. We make resumes. We understand the professionalism, how to present yourself in the interviews at workplaces, how to write emails, your cover letter, everything is covered in this course. And I think students don't see how important it is. You do it in your last semester or maybe in the second last semester based on your model route, but pay attention to this course. It is teaching you more about the world actually. Maybe you would want to like change your uh, field of study or field of work after you graduate from here. But this thing is going to stay with you, the professional practices course. So I think these two, like, yeah, I think this is something that, paid forward for me.
So, what skills learned at the college have you used most after your graduation?
I had an amazing time in Sentinel. I was obviously like the study part was good, but I also got the opportunity to be the leader when I was the president back in summer. So leadership was one thing that I got to explore. I knew I wanted to always do something like that, being in a management position of managing teams, and I got to do that while being a leadership by being the president of the club. Now, why I say this is that a lot of us might have some skills that we know we have it. And if I'm giving an interview, I'm telling you, I'm a good leader. What proof do I have? But I get to say that, I ran a club, I managed multiple teams at the same time. I was managing my workload as well. I was working part-time as well. And that gives an idea of determination, an idea of, somebody to give a proof of your skill that you're trying to promote. So being in school, I guess, make sure that you're, if you know you have a skill, make sure that you're doing something with it, and making sure that you're collecting proof or evidence of that skill. So I did that. I Leadership is something that I said, um, I learned or I explored. Being a team player, you do that when you're working with teams for your research project or for your project. So you have an example of that. We did a lot of research to do really good research projects that you do in semester 3 and 5, I guess. Um, Five, I don't know, some
Yeah.
semesters that you do.
Yeah.
I know you do like two research programs, and then obviously networking and professionalism that came with the handling the BioS club. We used to reach out to a lot of alumni. You are reaching out to alumni. I'm sure you're interacting with them. You're practicing professionalism. So this is something that will pay you really good when you are working in a work environment, because being with your friends and being in a class, it's different. You're very casual. But if you're doing the same conversation with a professional, you have to know what words to use, how to frame it, how to put it out there, so that, even if in a disagreement, you have to be professional. How are you going to practice that being in working in, positions like this? Maybe not just president, maybe just as a leader, or, taking interviews, or just being the communication manager, maybe. So yeah, practicing professionalism is something I did learn while being in college.
So, what problems do you think most students face when they transition from their academics to their work environment? And how do you suggest they should tackle them?
I cannot think of a very specific reason. It also depends on how you have been till now. Like, one thing that I can again think of is professionalism. Have you ever worked in a professional environment? Then probably coming into an work environment would not bother you. You know how to talk to people. You know how to, work, um, discuss in a professional setting. Doing a discussion with friends is more casual. You can say something, oh, I don't agree with you. What are you talking about? No. In a professional setting, if you have an idea, and if you're disagreeing with somebody, or, if you want to put an idea out there, you have to be assertive. And that practice of assertiveness comes when you again work in a professional setting. So, have you worked with something like that before? Not in college, maybe more when you're working part time, and your work itself is something that, has prepared you for that setup, then you're good. Then there's no problem for you. Obviously, you cannot learn everything in school. You will come to a company, and then they will have their ways of doing stuff, and you will learn there. But are you ready for that expectation that the company has from you? You cannot be a child sitting there, I have to learn this. No, that's not how it works. You have to be very active, and you have to be, present there. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So, my next question is, looking back, is there anything that you wish you had done differently?
Yes. I got to know very later in my college life that there were like researches done in the department. And by then I had done my co-op, so I knew I had already explored the industry aspect of it. But I wanted to always explore or do something, in research. I know we do like two projects, but um, when you're working with the faculty, you're learning more because they have experience. They have experience in publishing a paper. They know what's required, and that is something you might not do it when you're doing it for the sake of the course. And I think that is something I should have explored when I was in college. And if you're somebody, I know you're going to ask me later, but if you're somebody who's planning to do master's later or PhD later, you know, explore this option. Even if they don't have a position for you right now, be in the good words, be in their good books, let them know that you're interested. And if you are somebody who's already graduated, have done research maybe before, I know students are more qualified in that aspect. So if you're there, let your professors know, especially professors who are taking your the research project courses. And I know you know those names. So yeah, do that. If I mean, I did not do it. I did not know about it, but I would highly recommend it.
What have you learned in the industry that you wish you had learned in college?
Um, I would say something that I wish I had already learned in college was that I should have done an Excel course. You don't realize that when you go to a new workplace, you will see a lot of data entering or recording. Um, it is a very core of the whole, a company or a work environment. You have to keep record of what you have done, what is being done. We have a QMS system. It's a quality management system. A lot of things go on the QMS system, but still Excel is being used to monitor progresses, or it could be to take care of your samples and stuff. Now, Excel is very you could use Excel. I mean, everybody knows how to use technology, but Excel has really good features that you would not know if you don't do such courses. I wish I would have done an Excel course, and you being a Centennial student, you get access to LinkedIn Learning for free. And LinkedIn Learning has really, really good courses. I started something, but I just couldn't complete it because it asks for a lot of determination. So I think you should do that. Again, practice writing professional emails. I'm working at a job where I have to communicate with our clients. We are a manufacturing facility, so we manufacture products for our clients. So these clients, we have to inform them regarding testings that are required, or we have to reach out to them for when you're making a product. We have to know if something has to be tested for this or not. We have to reach out to them. We have to communicate with any deviation that's happening while making the product. Right? I cannot say, oh, this is not working out. No, I have to be professional. I have to explain them what's happening. So writing professional emails is something that you should learn. And I think Coursera has a really good course for that. And I'm sure you'll find it on other courses, I mean, platforms as well. But I think you should do that.
Yeah. That's a good advice, actually.
Thank you.
Yes. So, would you suggest any additional certification or training for students apart from the academics that would help them in securing a job?
Again, it depends.
Yeah.
Do you have the $800? Do you have the $900 to spare and not being financially tired during when you're a student? Go ahead. Who's stopping you? Like, if you could do it, why not? Right? But these courses are expensive. They are good 500, 800, 400. Maybe I don't know what's the range, but they're expensive. They're gonna put you in a financially tight situation if you do them. I don't know how much money students might have, obviously. But I say no, don't do it. I am doing a course right now that my company sponsors me. So a lot of time companies do sponsor you, and if you're active and you communicate with your HR, or somebody you think can help you get into a course and get sponsored, and your company sees that they will benefit out of this when you get trained into this, they will definitely do it. It's the matter of reaching out. It's always the matter of reaching out. You have a question, if you know somebody can help you out, reach out. So I would say don't do it right now. And I know a lot of us, we cannot afford paying $800, $900 upfront, right? So don't do it right now. Maybe wait for you to join a company and then do it. And if you are going into a QA/QC job, what do you need to require, or what do you need to know at the basis, the HACCP, the GMP, and you already know that. Food Micro does that for you. But just know how to present that on your resume. Make sure that you mention that on your resume so that people know that you have the idea of what HACCP and GMP is. Yeah.
So, can you share any resources or networking opportunities that you benefited since your graduation?
My all networking opportunities had come from BioS. We used to go on tours. We used to lead the tours. We would reach out to alumni for the interview. We would interview the alumni. We had a networking event. So all of this had literally expanded my network on LinkedIn. And I know you can always reach out to people on LinkedIn, but there's something about a face-to-face conversation where they see you how you talk, where they see your professionalism. So I think students, and I know Yvonne being somebody who has a really good a network out there, she brings a lot of opportunities for the club to offer to the students. So I think BioS maybe for the first uh, I would say first few semesters, be active in BioS and take opportunities like this of interviewing people or um, going on tours. And yes, if you go on tours, I never used to do this and I regret doing that. I would go on tours, I would interact with the professionals, and I would never go back and talk to them on LinkedIn. If you go on tour, if you have met somebody, message them on the same day of LinkedIn, a message of gratitude. You know, it was nice seeing you, and this is what I learned. I look forward to more conversations, because starting the conversation is the most difficult part of it. Now, after 1 year, when you're looking for job or opportunities, or you just want a mentor, you can reach out to the same person and be like, this, and it won't be awkward because you've already started a conversation. So I think students should do this, and yeah, be active and go on tours. Yeah.
So, how can students without the co-op program enter the field of work?
Again, networking. I know CCSAI organizes networking events. I know in June, college itself, with the departments like the co-op department and the employment department, they come together and they organize a networking event. BioWest as a networking event. So these opportunities are something that will make the person remember you if you're interacting with them, right? But otherwise, yes, you can always reach out to people on LinkedIn. If you see somebody is very active, reach out to them, ask them to be your mentor, maybe, or maybe make them read your resume once. And I know all the alumni that I have ever interviewed, they are always up there to, help students. So I think they should do that. Yeah.
Okay. So, when do you think is the right time to start looking for a job?
Depends. Do you have a resume? First question, do you have a resume? If you do not have a resume at all, start from the second semester. Experience Centennial has a feature where you can book like appointments with the employment advisor. And these employment advisors can help you look for jobs, your resumes, your cover letters, and make sure that you have your resume at least made. Start the journey by the resume and the cover letter, right? If you already have a resume, start building it in the second semester. Because by then you know what you have done till now, you know what is required. So start building your resume if you have already made one in the second last semester. But job applying should be done in the last semester, I guess. Because that you're going to graduate after this and you're sure what you want to do by then. And I would say either you do like 5 jobs per weekend, or you do one job at the end of the day, just sit with one job, apply for it. Because we have done it both during co-op, and we have done it when we were graduating. It is very time consuming, and you cannot just put any resume in any job. You have to alter your resume. Alter your resume is one thing. I used to see my friends, they would just like submit, oh, I saw this job. I'm like, there's no connection between your resume and that job. That nothing about your resume says that you're made for this job. You might have done something, but they have to see how does that apply for their requirement. So you have to alter your resume like that. If you see that something they need, something that's mandatory for that job, make sure that you put that in your description right below your name. If you have a section in the first page which gives them a summary of your achievements or your education, make sure you mention that over there, because the first page is your weapon actually, because they read it, and if they get bored, they might not go on the second page. So yeah, doing that, tailoring your resume, I guess.
That's another good advice. Actually,
Thank you.
yeah. So, can students connect with you on LinkedIn?
What do you guess? Of
Nice.
course of course they can. I'm always open on that. It's just that know how to frame a message. For me, I mean, I know I've recently graduated. I'm not very, I don't judge on that basis, but I know that if you don't know somebody personally and you reach out to them, your professionalism speaks for you. The way you write that message and you approach them speaks. So yeah, obviously students can reach out to me for sure.
Okay. And what advice would you like to give to the students who are about to graduate and to the students who are thinking about entering the biotechnology program?
For students who are thinking to enter the biotechnology program and they stayed throughout this video for this question, I would say that you are signing up for a very demanding course. Courses like chemistry and genetics, I know they are very demanding. For me, as somebody who has already had a degree back in India, it was still demanding for me. It requires a lot of time, and if you're here to learn, this course is for you. And it's a very well-built course, genetics and like DNA and chemistry. I use a lot of chemistry learnings in my current job because I read through lab reports because I have to release products that are already made. I have to make sure they meet the requirement. So I read through lab reports. So I can just read the report and not understand anything if I did not have the um, learning of chemistry and micro, right? So you are signing up for a difficult, not a difficult course. I mean, you're signing up for a very well-built course, but a demanding course. So make sure that you're ready for it. For students who are graduating, um, you're going to do a more of adulting now. So get prepared for that. And if you're an international student, you're going to be stressed a little bit about the work permit and everything. So one advice that I would give for international students is that if you don't have your cover letter, graduation letter yet, sorry, make sure that you have uploaded everything else that's required for your um, like the work permit application. And as soon as you get your the graduation letter uploaded and submitted, that saves a lot of time. Because if you've already sat with the application process, you save a lot of time there. You apply for it, and I got my work permit like 1 month. There are students who are still waiting for it. So it depends on when you get a work permit, your stress varies. So, but things will fall into place. Maximum, I've seen people who graduated one semester before they got their job like after 4 months or 3 months, immediately after. Depends on how active you were with your job application. So right now your concern should be job application. I know you have, it depends on what semester you are, but I know the sixth semester is still pretty chill. And if your model route is different and you have the fifth semester as your last semester, that was the case with us. I know it's gonna be more difficult for you to get the time to apply for jobs, but that should be a priority. Sit with one job 1 day at least. If you can't, if your weekend is busy with your part-time jobs, sit with one job every day. Every time there's at least 1 hour between the labs or your schedules, in college, sit with one job and take help from employment advisors. They can be such great help. I got my resume made when I was doing my co-op employment course, but I also altered it when I was learning the professional practice course. And then I also reached out to the employment advisor. And all these three gave me a really good resume, I would say, but also they teach you a lot on how to make your resume because then you can go ahead and probably advise somebody, or when in the future when you have to make changes in your resume, you have to know how to put it out there. Somebody could just make your resume for you, but that somebody is not going to stay and you're not going to stay the same person. You will have to do some changes as you go by. You will learn more things. So make sure you use those resources. And if you didn't know about employment advisor, today start by booking an appointment today because they are very busy. You get an appointment like once in 2 weeks, like that. That used to be the case with us. So yeah, be proactive in applying jobs. That should be a priority. I know studying and everything is there, but this should be your priority right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Chitu. Actually, it was really inspiring and a learning interview, especially for
Oh,
me.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.